All right. So, for any of you that don't know me, my name's Steve Blair, and my main function in commercial right now is to be a liaison with CoStar. And so we're kind of rebooting our relationship with them. And I know myself, I've got a subscription and I probably use about 10% of the functionality software. So I think it's a great opportunity. We're going to be doing some trainings in the next few months.
Yep.
So, what you can do with it. And so I'd like to get more value out of my subscription. But this is Missy Malavansis.
Sure.
Close enough.
Close enough.
She's
Malavansis.
she's our co-star rep, and she's going to be getting a lot more familiar with this.
Yeah.
Hand it over to you.
Yep. Hey guys. So yes, I'm Missy Malavansis. To credentialize, I've been with the company CoStar for about 11 years, and I've been training individuals and helping them with marketing and programs for about 17 years. So I'm excited to help out. We are going to start doing this monthly. And so this is going to be a stream of trainings. We gave everyone got signed up in February, just a couple of months ago. And it's always good to get your feet wet in the system and then get logged in and then get the value out of it by training. I always say that CoStar is kind of like a gym membership. You only get the value if you go and take it seriously. And that's kind of like how CoStar is. You only get the value if you log in and use the product. So I want to give you all the tips and tricks necessary to actually use it, because I can say with 100% honesty that my clients that are some of the highest users are probably the most successful people in the business. And that's because they get creative with the data that they have and they use it in a smart way. And so my goal today is to teach a little bit of ways that you can be creative with CoStar, because everyone knows this industry is about how do you stand out from the other thousands of people that are doing the exact same thing. How do you make yourself a little bit different and better at your job? And so that's what we're going to go through with CoStar today. Now I'm going to focus on this is going to be about 30 to 45 minutes. And that I'm going to do this once a month where I come in and teach some new things. I have learned that if I go past 45 minutes, the napping brain takes over and you want to either eat a snack or take a nap after 45 minutes. So you stop listening to everything else. So that's why we're going to keep it short and sweet. We're going to start off the first 20 minutes going through some tips and tricks basics. So about the profile, how to save a search, mapping capabilities, how to print a report. These are basics that are really the baseline and fundamentals for using CoStar as a whole. And then we're going to get into some prospecting. So if I were an agent in your field and in your area, what would I use CoStar to really start making a splash and find new business? So that's what we're going to do with the rest of the 10, 15 minutes that we have. Anyone want to make sure I cover something today that is of importance? You can just raise your hand and say something. Or does that cover it, what I'm going to start? Okay, perfect. That covers it. Okay, so when you log into CoStar, I always tell people the first time to log in is always the hardest. You got to give a phone number. It's going to text you. You got to make sure it's the right email address. The first time is the hardest, but then once you get logged in, you'll see this beautiful, easy to use screen that I make look even easier. So you always have the support. I'm going to start scrolling to the very bottom of the screen. Now I'm logged in, so it's going to have my support team. But when you log in, you will find your support team down at the bottom. It should have my picture, my phone number direct to my desk. And then also you can click my name, and it'll send me an email automatically. So you can send me an email. How do I do this? You showed me how to do that. I can't, I need some quick help on demographics. Very easily send me an email or just give me a call. A lot of you should also have my cell phone number. Please text like, hey, I was trying to pull up demographics on a property. Can you call me real fast? This is what your support team is for. If I'm unavailable, you can also go to your client relationship manager. Okay. So their main function is to make sure your listings are correct. So if you get a new commercial listing and you want to add it to CoStar for free, you can call your relationship manager, or at the top, you can actually add that listing. Every time you get a new listing, add it for free. That should be the first thing, to for free get it out to the brokerage community of the world that has access to CoStar. They're looking on CoStar for space for their clients, and you want to make sure your listing is there. And it can be any listing. Their next functionality is to help with quick trainings. Let's say I'm not available and you need help running a quick report. Call your client relationship manager. We call them our CRC, or a researcher. Another way you can use them is, I drove by this property earlier today and I can't find it in CoStar. Easy way. Call your CRC and say, hey, it's at the intersection of Voss and San Felipe. It's a small piece of land. They can help you find it and they can get it added to CoStar if it's not in there. Very helpful. And then let's say I'm not available, your CRC isn't available, or it's after hours support. And this is almost 24/7. Our support hotline, our average wait time is 7 seconds on hold. It's not like calling AT&T or Verizon where the average wait time is like 55 minutes. The average wait time is 7 seconds. You'll get connected and they can answer any questions you need. Very helpful. Okay, as we scroll to the top, the the fastest way to look for a property is, if you know the address, you just want to get some details, you want to know who the contacts are, you can type an address right here in this box. Now, where this is pulling from is the properties, but you can see in this drop down, I can look up sales comps. Let's say you want to see the last transaction on a property or an address. You can click sales comps and put in that address. And what's neat is whatever you start to put, it populates right there in that window. Okay, you can put the name of a property. Let's say you want to see sales comps for anything sold by Transwestern. So think whatever you put here and the output you put here will give you an output of what you selected. If I said properties, Transwestern, it would pull up all the properties under Transwestern. If I said for sale, Transwestern, it would pull up all the sale listings. So if I said for lease in 77055, it would give me everything for lease in the zip code 77055. So this is an easy way to start any search, okay? And just keep in mind, you're depending it. If you wanted to see companies in 77055, it would list every company in 77055. It's a pretty nifty, I think of it like the Google of commercial real estate. That's your search bar up here. And then we have our news and information. We'll get to the modules in just a second. So you can schedule your news to be in areas and property types that you select. So that's going to be news for you in this left-hand corner. And then we have our national news stream right here in the middle. Now, these articles are only available to CoStar subscribers. So it's very exclusive. And if you think, we're the first to a lot of news articles. We're used by 98% of brokerage firms who focus solely on commercial, 98%. We're the first place they add a listing or the first place they remove a listing. So let's say a company says, hey, I just sold a piece of land out here off the 99 and Barker Cypress, or somewhere around there. Oh, great. What do you plan to do with it? Oh, I sold it to someone who's building 450 units. Press release, CoStar's first to hear about this new building that Greystar's putting on there. So we're the first to the news. You can also search news down here by industry, by international, by market, by property type. So different ways to search the news. Now, where this can benefit you is standing out amongst your clients. You're no longer someone who's just getting started in commercial. You are an experienced agent in the commercial space that knows the same things and news that really experienced do. So this can give you credibility in any of your talk tracks and things like that, and really help you stand out. Okay, so moving on. So each of these modules is dependent on what you want your output to be, what you want the results to show. Are you looking up anything about properties? Probably go to the property section. If you're looking at sales comps, sales transactions, go to sales. Tenant, company information, go to the tenant tab. Directory, I would make sure that your directory information is correct. This is for companies like owners and tenants like Amazon. If they're trying to sell a building in your market, they look at top agents in the market. Markets, if you have a client that says, hey, what's going on with retail in Sugarland? That would be the market tab. So all of these should be self-explanatory. What do you want your output to be? So starting with the property section, all of our mapping is the same across the board. So it's good to know how the maps work. On this screen, the property screen, all of these icons are properties, off market and on market. When I say off market, I don't mean pocket listing. When I say off market, I mean it's literally off the market. It's an existing structure or piece of land that is not being advertised for sale or for lease. The blue icons indicate this is an active listing. Okay, it's either for sale or for lease. If you think about this in the other modules, it's a little bit different, but each icon is a sale, each icon is a tenant. So that's how it works on the other modules. We have an intuitive location bar right here. You can put in any geographical search. You can put in a zip code. Okay. It's neat because it highlights the boundaries of that zip code. You can put in a submarket. So if we did a submarket, Katy Freeway West or East, Katy Freeway West, there's this submarket. You can put in a cross street, San Felipe at Voss. Let me see. Oh, and Voss, I forgot. And Voss. Look, cross street, CVS, South Voss Road, San Felipe Street, and South Voss Road, and it will take you. I confused it and myself on that one. So look for those cross streets. You can put in an address. So same as on that homepage, you can just type in an address. This is just my one that's in my memory. Always select though. Never just click enter because you don't know what it will select. If you put Houston, it might put in Houston, Chicago. So always start typing and then select the one that you're going to type. That's a little tip. Okay. Another thing you can do is a polygon. So you can say, oh, I'm really just focused on this area for my client. Okay, I'm just drawing. Single click to draw your square. And you can have a lot of different shapes if you want it. If you click into the middle, see where it says click to edit boundary? You can click in the middle and you can move those. Oh, he specifically said he didn't want this section. So you can move them in and out or up and down, etc. One tip is a lot of times you're trying to figure out how to get your results to refresh. Just click any blank area. I usually click right here. This is my go-to area. Another thing you can do is radius. Now, something that's unique about CoStar is you can have lots of different shapes on one map. How often do you get someone who says, oh, we're looking in Conroe, Katy, Stafford, and you don't want to have to pull 3 different searches and then anything off I-10. You can do all of that in one search with CoStar. So with radius, you have the option to enter an address with the mileage, or my favorite thing to do, and I default to where it hides. So you can say default to drawing radius on a map. I like this better. Some people like to type in an address, but I'm terrible with memory. So I'm like, I just want to draw it. I know where it is. So I'm going to click here and I can say, okay, he also said anywhere near Pin Oak. So now I'm just drawing my map. There we go. And then find a blank area within your shape and you can type it right here. Let's say 4 miles, click in any blank area, or I can move these white squares in and out. Okay, so different ways to do that. The next one is corridor. Okay, so corridor is anything on a radius among a single line. That line could be bendy also. We know streets are not always straight, and so we know, but the key is just making it along that line. And so let's say we want something off of the Beltway or I-10 going west. So I'm just drawing my dots. Let's say I'm going this way. He said it could be off Highway 6 too. Isn't that neat? The last dot, so I'm just doing single clicks. You double click that last dot and then look at all those properties among that street. This can be very helpful for your teams who are like, I just want something off the freeway. I mean, you could draw a polygon technically, but this is much faster way to do it. And it defaults depending on how big your line is. So I'm going to click right here in the middle and I can see it opened up my little edit box and I can look, move this line if I want. And then right now it's doing 0.3 miles. That's 0.3 on both sides. Okay, so it's not the diameter, it's the radii. 0.3 on both sides, or I can say a mile off this street. So a mile on both sides. And here we go. Isn't that cool? So different ways, and you can have it all over your map to help it out. And then if you want to delete them and say, I'm going to get rid of this one, you just click in the middle and click delete on your keyboard. It'll take that mapping. It seems simple, but you get in there and you start trying to draw and you're like, what did I just do? Yes, question.
You ever have like a glossary or like shortcuts, like you just said, you just hit delete. Like I clicked on it, didn't know how to get rid of it.
Yeah. That would be really smart of us to do. We don't. You just have to remember. We do have a glossary, but it's not tips like that. Yeah, we have a glossary of all the terms that we have, but it's not going to be tips like that, unfortunately. That you'll just, it's the good thing is you can't break it. That's one thing I've learned. And that's a great scenario when you're like, when you call our support team real fast, wait for 7 seconds. How do I get rid of it? They tell you, and you spent 28 seconds figuring, learning a new thing. But good. That's a really good question and good feedback. Okay, so I'm going to click in here and click delete, and I can get those deleted. Another functionality is travel. So this would be if you have a client that's looking for anything within a 10-minute drive in rush hour traffic from blank, or a 10-minute drive. And it's funny because someone joked with me that Houston's one of the only places we share distance in time. How far away is it? 1 hour. Like, how far away is it? 30 minutes. And so you can do it by that search. So let's say I want a 10-minute drive in rush hour from, and then you can put in any address. It doesn't have to be a commercial building. I put in my home, and you can put any address, but I'm just going to do that same address that pops in my head all the time. 10-minute drive in rush hour from Katy Freeway. And here you go. Now we have a 10-minute drive in rush hour from Katy Freeway. Isn't that neat? So it does the different angles. And this is helpful for multifamily, retail, if someone wants to be near their house. I don't like their commute. So different ways to use that. Then you can click in the middle and click delete. Or you see this little X right here. You can click this little X and get rid of that map as well. The other thing is sometimes you have clients that just give you a bunch of zip codes, and you're like, okay, he gave me 5 zip codes. That's where he's searching. So you just click this location. It opens up your location filters and you can see submarket, market, county, state, zip code. We even have university. So if someone's looking for land near U of H, that could be a way you could use university boundary. But let's say we're just doing zip codes, and then you can just type them here and then double click it, or type it here and use this little arrow, or you can just come down here and click next, click on one and click next. Not neat. So different ways to do that. There we go. So we have all of our different zip codes that it's moving over there. And it's nice, it highlights them all. You can get them all in there. Okay, that is our mapping. Lots of different options. Now, what goes on mapping and can be really helpful is the layers, the layers for the outside of the map. So let's say I'm going to clear all this. That's the clear button. Now, mapping layers do not affect your search results. It is purely an overlay onto the map. So if I come in here to layers, I can zoom in and say, okay, I want to see parcels. So this is any appraisal district that reports digitally. We're putting in that parcel ID map. So you can see the boundary of that ownership in that appraisal. So here we can see Winrock Apartments. Here's the parcel ID and information value on this. This is an easy way if you're searching for something, you know where it is, but you can't find the address. This is a great way to do that. I would say homework is to click on layers and to go click on some of these. What does it show you? How can this be helpful? Get creative with this information. Another thing is points of interest. Okay, add a radius around results. This could be helpful if someone says, hey, I don't want to be anywhere near another Taco Bell or anywhere near another restaurant. That could be something that you could use, this radius, where they currently, so it's all about getting creative. And then sometimes you just want to add a star on the map for your subject property. So if I were to put in an address, Katy Freeway, there, it put my star. Let's see. There we go. This is helpful when you're trying to point someone on the map. Hey, this is the site we're talking about. Here's where everything is. Also down here, you'll see traffic counts. All right, this is cars per day. We are very updated on cars per day. If you went to TxDOT and asked them for a traffic count report, they would say, do you want to buy one for $100? Or do you want to use one of our historical ones, which most of them are from 2017, 2018, which we have 150 people moving into Houston every day. We know that can't be accurate. So we have very accurate and up-to-date traffic counts. We also have national retailers. Okay, and this is going to be any company that we're tracking. So it's nice. We can see the star and we can say, oh, good, there's a Shipley's. A lot of times you might see this in some of the larger brokerage, like how did they get those logos on the map? A lot of them are doing this. You can also add specific retailers. So let's say on a single map, I want to have the traffic counts and I want to add Starbucks. Here we go. I also want to add H-E-B. And Walgreens. Okay. And then I can add those. And now I'm going to see, here's my traffic counts, search results. There's my Starbucks. I don't think there's an H-E-B or a Walgreens near here. Oh, there. There's my site. There's Starbucks all over the place. There's the H-E-B. There's the Walgreens, etc. Not neat. So we can X out those just right here. We also have boundaries. Okay, let me X out. I think I still have Starbucks in here. Okay, down here, boundaries. So this is going to be every boundary dependent on property type. Now, this is important for you when someone says, hey, what's going on with Cushman Wakefield's evaluation of office for Southwest Beltway 8? Or I heard that rents were going up in CBD. Now we match the same boundary lines as all the big shops. So we have an advisory board that gets together and plans this. So when you hear Colliers released an account of CBD versus Galleria area in Midtown, this is the boundary they're talking about. Okay, so it's good to have access to those. And you can see right here, these are office boundaries industrial, retail, so you can see the different neighborhoods and areas. You can also look at university campuses.
Excuse me, I have a quick question.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Rich.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. Go ahead.
Good. I just want to jump back to your retail deal real quick.
Mhm.
Uh, can it, without me having to put in Starbucks or HEB, can it automatically detect or highlight what major retailers are in a particular area?
Yeah, so if you just click this national retailers button, you can see the major retailers in that area. It's going to be any retailer we're mapping. So if you do want to be maybe industry specific, you can like come, let's see, let me get to a, like here's Bel Air, Southside Place. You can come in here and say, okay, I just want to see restaurants, nail salons, and coffee shops. So I would play around with it. And now you see I'm getting different restaurants. And so think about specific retail companies, because if I turn on all national retailers, it's going to be very busy. The only time I would probably use all national retailers is if you're trying to show your client, look at where these retail clusters are. This is a great piece of land because this is here. You know what I'm saying? So get creative with those. The other reason is if you're zoomed in like this, then you can see all the retail tenants in that area. Mhm.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of playing it around, but I see a bunch of properties still popping up, kind of blocking my view.
Oh, good question. So see up here, map layers.
Huh? Oh, search result.
Yeah. That's just going to toggle on and off your map layers.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old are the traffic counts?
Really good question. So we get our traffic counts from a company called Calibrate. It's a national traffic count company. Okay, they're putting wires out and they're using cell phone towers. Typically, they update every May for the previous year. So we should get 2023 by June. Right now, it's showing 2022 data. Yeah. There's still some streets like, and you can click on it to see when it was. So if you click on the actual little car right there, you can see 2022 MPSI estimate. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I tried to add HEB. It's not working. Can you show me how you did that?
Yeah. So tenant H, this one's different. You can't just type HE. You have to do H dash E, and then it shows up. Yeah. Little trick. Good questions. Huh? Good question. Yep, that's where we're going next. Perfect. The last thing under boundaries, I'm going to come real fast. We have market analytics, but we can say retail. I want to see where there's major inventory. So where there's retail inventory, you can see all the heat maps. I want to see where there's under construction. And so you can see different, there's retail under construction. These are neat little layers to add if you're look at that. Let me take off that layer. There we go. I'm even going to take these off. Okay, so I'm on market analytics. So here's retail under construction square footage. It's neat when you're looking at it as a whole. You can see where is there a lot of retail under construction, or where is there industrial under construction. This can be very powerful when you're working with a developer or a buyer and he's curious in that. Where is there a lot of sales going on? Look at industrial sales in the past 12 months. It's been insane. So this is just gaining your credibility. And then the last one on this section is demographics. So population density. Now, to me, a lot of us know Houston. We've been here forever. We could tell you where there's the most buying power in the city. You'll hear references. Yes.
Yeah, actually, I have a client who's looking for open a big restaurant around HEB.
Perfect.
So he needs to find where the HEB is under construction. Will the CoStar reflect that?
Yes. Yes.
So is that you use the way you just
So right now we're just doing map layers. I'm about to get to filters in just a second, and I would use filters for that.
for
They're
the under
different.
construction? Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Thanks.
absolutely. Okay, so we have our demographics, and this is really powerful. If you're going into a market that you don't know, we know Houston, you know, we know the different areas. Let's say you have a buyer and you want to tell them that you're an expert in Austin as well. Come to this demographic heat map. You can real quickly get to learn a market based on different college graduates, age, median household income, home value. So different ways to get to know different markets. And then let's say we've got our area zoomed in. So I want this age demographic. I want to put the traffic counts on here. I want to put the national retailers in here. And then I want to print this and send it to my client. See this little printer button in the top right-hand corner? This creates a little PDF, and you can say test. Now, if I'm going to be honest, which I usually am, no, I'm just kidding. I would probably say a screen capture. I use Snagit would be a cleaner version. And I'll show you why. I mean, this looks fine. I mean, it's easier to do. I think it went right here. Where did that go? Oh, here. So, you know, it looks really professional. It'll have, you know, the logo, but this is what that map looks like. So you can see based on your preferences, I like the cleaner map version, but this is really handy. Okay, so I would probably say more map, get my star in there and use the print screen button and, you know, get this detail. That's probably how I would do it. But that's just me. Use whatever makes you feel necessary. I did more map, less map right here at the bottom, and then the printer. All right. It's for the people on Zoom. They can only hear it if you use.
So when I put map layers, I don't get the location analysis. I get boundaries.
You do not need location analysis. That's only for me because I work with exclusive clients who have this section. Not everyone has this section.
Gotcha. So
this is for retailers.
Just go general then? Where do you go? Retail?
No, right here, submarkets, retail.
Got it.
Yeah, we didn't use location analysis at all. Boundaries, retail.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Good, good. Okay. So now I clicked done. Now you can toggle your layers. You can keep them on all the time. I have some clients who love keeping them on all the time. They're different layers that they like. And I have some who just toggle them on and off. I'm going to click X so they're not there. The other thing right here is map. So we have street view, aerial view, very handy. And then we are unique that we layer Google Earth with Google Map. So you can do a 3D view like this and turn the camera. This way you don't have to drive out there every time. You get a good vision of what's there without having to waste gas money. Isn't that neat? Turning the camera and rotating. You can look all over the city and drive around. Now, I will say we're on Google Maps timeline. Sometimes this is behind. Google hasn't sent their cool car there, but Houston is pretty up to date. Rural areas, it's going to be like a year or two behind. Okay, so just something to keep note. Okay, now on the filters, I'm going to go back to my street view. So homework is to play around in the filter section. The next one is actual in the layer section. The other one is filters. So this is where you can really get creative and you can get granular and think of different ways to use things. Now we have our primary filters, and this is going to change based on the property type you select. So if I select hospitality, it's going to change to primary favorite searches for people searching for hotels. If I change it to retail, it's going to be more about retail favorite things. Multifamily, you can see it'll change number of units rather than square feet. So remember that on the primary section. If we scroll down, we have our primary, different sections. I'm not going to go through every one of these. Go and look through each property type and see some of these different sections, because secondary type is something important to know. This will be where you can find storage units, sorority, any property type you can think of, you can search for in here. You can see bowling alley, convenience store. So these are all secondary types of retail, truck stop, etc. Tenancy, multiple or single? Are there lots of companies in one building or just one? Owner occupied. This can be something that you can search for prospecting. I want to see every owner occupied office building in this area. This owner is probably struggling and he's struggling to sell it or lease it. Let me see if I can help him, tell him to put it on the market, use my expertise. Percent leased is another way to prospect. I want to find anyone within 2 miles of my home that is only 50% leased. They're struggling. Maybe they want to sell it. Maybe they need a new leasing agent. Maybe they're not happy. So different ways to use that. Year renovated, zoning. So you can see I could click on these and it would just take me, or I can just scroll down. For sale, loan. Oh, this is another thing. Most of the time for sale, another agent gets an exclusive on a listing for 6 months, a year. I would search anything that's been on the market for over 365 days. You would be, oh, that's strange. Beaumont, there we go. Look at all these properties that have been on the market for over a year. That could be a way to prospect. So use your filters, and I would have no problem and go in there, dig around, obviously, go look in the property information, see when it was last updated. If nothing's happened to it for a really long time, go reach out to them and say, hey, I saw that this property has been on the market a year. Are you happy with your representation? You know, there's different ways you can get that detail. Okay, loan status. I'm gonna look, show criteria, something, a tip to note. I don't want this one anymore. Okay, here's now the only filter we have on so far is retail. Loan status. I want to see every active loan that is on the watch list. How cool is that? Do you know what the watch list is? This is loan and financial detail where lenders are worried about this loan getting paid. And there could be a number of reasons that lender is worried about it getting paid. It could be because the owner isn't submitting his financials and they're mad at him. Boom, watch list. It could be I saw one where it says on the watch list because there's microbial growth in the parking lot. Watch list. They might not be able to pay their loan because they still have to fix a lot of things on the maintenance side. But more likely, haven't received payment, low debt service coverage ratio, high interest rate with low occupancy. So think of these owners could be struggling in some form or another. Now we're going to stop here. I would say stop here on the filters. Go down. This is your homework for this time. We'll go in more detail next time, but go through the filters and see all the things that you can search. Yep.
What about
delinquency?
Yeah. And maturity dates.
Yep. Glad you asked. Right down here on loan, you can see pay status. Now there's not, I mean, you'd be surprised, like this means the lender has already let us know. These are few and far between, but I think it's always good. Who knows if you set an alert and you're the first one to call, so be it. So I'm going to say, let's see, retail. My tip would be select all and then unselect performing. See none on the retail side in Houston. Let's see all. So here's That's what I'm saying. Like this is very late. Most of the time it's already in special servicing by the time it hits our API extract. But I would set this alert for all over Texas. So let's do that as an, also here's maturity date to answer your other question. These are all ways you can prospect. You can say, I want a maturity date within the next 2 years on office. They either have to sell or refi. They're going to do something. Okay, I want a maturity date. I also would check debt service coverage ratio. So if you think debt service coverage ratio is how much is their mortgage payment? How much are they making? What's the percentage of that? If you have an investment or you own a property, you would probably want to make a little bit above your mortgage payment. You know what I'm saying? So let's say it's 1.25. That means you're making a little bit of a profit. Some of the best performing properties are making 2 to 3%. Okay. Like 3.5, 2.5, 1.75. Those are really well performing properties. A retail center, it's 1.1, 1.2. They're not making a lot of money even to pay themselves back. So they got to figure out what to do. They either have to lease that space. So let's say I want to set a cap on debt service coverage ratio. I'm going to take this out. So look at all of these properties in Texas that have a low debt service coverage ratio and in Houston. And we can save that search, set an alert. So I'm going to click done here. Homework is to go through. Oh, I'll do one more after this. But here's all the properties with a low debt service coverage ratio. No surprise, a lot of office in here, not many warehouse flex, couple multifamily. So we can save this search. You can see all of my saved searches. I would encourage you to save every search you do. Who knows if your computer will shut down, you don't want to do all that activity. The other thing is that it helps remind you of what you're searching for and give you ideas. But also it's so easy to set an alert. So I'm going to say save search, Houston, low DSCR, debt service coverage ratio, enable alerts. Okay. Now, next time I log in, I will have my little bell up here and it will show me my alerts. Now you can save up to 1,000 searches, 500, 100. I probably have 300. You will get one email every morning. I get mine at about 7:30. I heard they come anywhere between 6:30 and 8:30 a.m. and it will summarize your alerts for that day. So it'll say new properties on the market, new debt service coverage ratio, and you can click through that email, or I send all of those to, I created a folder on my desktop, so they all just go in there. And then I just come in here to my bell. But you can see, I can click through, I can see when it was new. I haven't clicked into any of them in a while, so that's why they're all new. And then, so that is saving a search, setting an alert. The other thing I can do with this list is I can export it into an Excel document. So if I want, I like working through Excel and I want to shift and see who, if there's a similar owner. So I can say, use that. I can click more, export. Now, one of our next trainings will work through some of this, but for now, use one of our default views. You can create your own. See, I've created my own. So I'm going to say one of these office lead. Oh, here, office owner and PM owner. And I want to see all the owner information. I created this and then I can click export. It'll export all the owners, all the addresses with the detail in there. You can't export loan information, unfortunately, but you already did the filter. You know it's under that section. Okay. The other thing you can do is print a report. So we have caps on reporting for different things. So if I wanted to do property map and list, it won't let me because I have more than 99 properties in here. But let's say, okay, I can't do that one. I just want to do a building contact list. Contact report. I think this is 99 too. Oh, look, contact report. it lets me do it. So there's different caps. Some of them cap at 50, some of them 99, some of them no cap. So if you click on it, it will let you know. But another thing I would do if I were you is come and click on each of these and see what this summary is like. Everyone asks me, what are the favorite reports everyone uses? Most everyone uses these new reports. But then I have, a client reach out to me yesterday. He's had CoStar forever, since like 2005, and he loves his industrial building availability report. So, I mean, it might be something great for you to check out. So you can click on this sample and you can get an image of what that report looks like. I'm not going to go through all 200 reports, but I would go through there and check on which ones you like. Okay, so let's say I'm going to get this down to a few properties that I want to send my client. So I'm going to say, okay, I like this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, I want to send those in a big report to my client. So I can say reports, and then here we have, I want to send a property map and list report and a property summary report. You can build your own bundle. So I like the property map and list. It has a nice map with a list of the properties. And then the property summary report is a one pager. So I'm creating my bundle. I'm going to click next. It'll have your logo. You can see the different details and you just click generate. Okay, so go through there and find out the different reports that you like. Okay, the other thing I can do, so we've done everything so far in list view. I'm going to unselect these. I mean, in map view. So see up here in the top right-hand corner, here's map view. I'm going to click on here, a property type. Here's office. So here's 11 offices with low debt service coverage ratio that have my other criteria. Let's say I want to view them in list view. Okay, so here we have list view. Now, it's important to notice changes. Here, I'm going to come back. I'm going to change my filter. This is pretty neat. I want to see what criteria. Debts, loan status active, watch list, current. That gives us a few more. There we go. I wanted to show it's pretty neat. So we can see properties. Okay, this is just under list view as a reminder. I can see what spaces are available. Lease comps, so what's going rate? These are deals that have been done. So think if you have a client who says, what are the lease comps around my building? You just do a radius, similar properties, list view, lease comps. So think that all of these are useful in that sense. Sale comps, same thing. You can say, I want to see anything sold in this area in the last 1 year, similar properties. Now, 3 have been sold out of this 41 properties already in the last year. Tough market right there. Owners. I want to see the owners of these 41 properties. And I love this owner tab because it tells you in this search and overall. So here I have these 41 office properties with low debt service coverage ratios. That means they have a CMBS loan and they're behind, struggling to make it. So we can see number of properties in search. We can sort by that. Acesso Partners and Starwood Capital Group, they have a struggling office portfolio. What I would look for are some smaller investors and owners, ones that you can reach directly out to and say, okay, do you have someone helping you with some of those? But we have 2 pages of owners on this list. Benz Management, Israeli Group, Ellingstone, so different things. And you could change property types different ways. Then we have demographics. This can be helpful if you have a group of retail properties and you want to understand the difference in demographics in those. Great way. You could send this to your client and say, hey, here's the ones we talked about. Here's the difference in demographics. Changes, new. So all of that is in list view. The last thing on this page, and then we'll finish up, and that way I can tease for next time. The last thing is map view, list view, analytical view. This is for custom analytics. I guarantee someone will ask you, or they have asked you, what's going on with blank property type in blank area? Raise your hand if you've gotten a similar question. Everyone, exactly. So this is one of the easiest things you can pull and you will be a rock star. So here I'm like, what's going on with struggling office in Houston that have a loan? Analytics. It's summarizing all of that data for me, aggregating it. And so if you think on the back end, our software is taking only the data from these properties and giving you the fundamental statistics surrounding those properties. We can do the same thing. Let's say I clear my thing and I want retail in Sugarland. There we go. Retail in Sugarland, and I only want small properties. Very quick. What's going on with smaller retail in Sugarland? That question you have an answer to. You can print out this map. This is something you could do in 2 minutes on the phone or 30 seconds on the phone with someone, and you sound like an expert in any space. Oh, there's 24,000 square feet of construction in small retail in Sugarland right now. The vacancy is pretty low, but it is up a tiny bit, about 5 basis points, 4 basis points. Price per square foot, though, is $485. Have you ever considered selling your property there? I mean, think how fast you know this information. And if you're on the phone with someone, you are the smartest person in the room. Isn't that cool? Yeah.
So I just inputted the same exact filter. I see a different result. I'm not sure. Okay, so
I did Sugarland, Texas.
Sugarland, Texas.
Retail.
Retail.
Up to 10,000 square feet.
Oh, up to 10,000.
You did at least 10,000? See, that'll give you a different result.
Okay, then got it. Okay.
323 properties?
What do you see the number?
Up here in the right-hand corner.
Perfect, yes.
Yep. And then we play games sometime. I remember when I was in training and they'd be like, okay, how many properties are in blank? And we'd have to match all our numbers. It's kind of fun. Okay, so this is it for today. Next time we're going to go through, let me recap first of all what I went through today. The home page is something we went through, make sure looking for the news and who your support team is. Then we went through mapping tips and tricks and different ways to make sure you get your geography right. Saving searches is important, the map layers, and then an introduction to the filters, okay? And then how to switch from list view to analytical view. That's the main point. It seemed like we went through a lot, but it's just a little. There's a lot of things you can do in CoStar. Now, next time, I want to do a deep dive into the filters and reporting. Next month.
We haven't set a date.
Yeah, we haven't set a date yet. Yeah. Perfect. Questions? Ashley should be yours. It should not say sales Marsha. I'll make sure everyone, it's funny. They do it by zip code and not by who owns the account. It's crazy. But yeah, don't contact Marsha. Contact me. Marsha is my mentee, so that could be, I'm mentoring her. She's newer. Jacob? No. It could be.
I can answer that because Jacob, I reached out to him. He's out of town or something for a few days, so Ashley's covering for him. So
yeah,
maybe
I think he's actually on paternity leave. I think it's 6 weeks with CoStar. I didn't get that, and I had an actual baby when I was at CoStar. Yeah.
About the billing. So I actually got the CoStar account outside of KW.
Got it.
They said we have some kind of discount. Is there any way I can, kind of
send me a separate email? We asked, and I talked to Michael about our ask at the beginning was whoever has their own account, finish out your current, and then you can join
Oh,
with
so
it.
we know we have 3-year contract, then it will be after 3 years?
You have 3-year contract.
Yeah.
Well, I will make sure at least it's in this year, that before it does your annual term.
Okay,
So this would be a separate thing. Send me an email. We
got it.
can
Thank you.
go through it specifically. Yeah, any specific questions to your account and billing, I would say reach out to me individually because everyone's going to have a unique situation. I wish I could run all the rules in CoStar, but I can't. So
if we got anybody that wants to sign up, send it to me because we have
Yep.
to track it internally, and then I'll
Yes.
get it over to Missy. It's set up.
Steve and I work together to make sure everyone is
Yes.
good and happy as they can be. So yeah, let him know, and then yeah, and whenever, let's say, and it's good if Steve sends me an email, hey, please sign me up, I will send you an email. Just want to confirm because Michael Bossart has to sign the actual addendum. Okay. Yeah, was it helpful? 713. Yeah, add it to your phones right now. This is my cell phone number, 713-818-2601. I'm also going to give you, if I'm going to be honest, I sometimes forget that phone. Please save also my personal cell phone number, 713-826-2222. Text them both. Text one of them. I'll answer one of them. I know. I'm a working mom. That's how we. What? Yeah. Good. Already in there. Missy. Yes, Missy. I will leave cards up here. It has my cell phone number on it, my email, everything. And I also think I put some cards on that little card wall. And here's some pens if you need. There you go. There's these.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.